Hopefulness 2.0, May 19th. I forgot to get some water. Cream corn turned out pretty good. And I'm on the remainder of it all. I don't have much left other than what's in there. The bacon threw some in there yesterday, that was good. So we'll do it again. I'm gonna work tonight, so it is currently almost 5:30. After I get off of work, I'm gonna go to the UPS store. Almost out of cheese. I only have six streams left, so I only have enough for one pizza, which I'll do tomorrow. Oh man. Let's toss some bacon in here. Keep just enough for the pizza tomorrow, which is pretty much that, so that'll be good. It's funny, I screwed up my pizza last time when I cooked it, because I forgot to. That's so bad. So I chopped up all the cheese, right? Oops. So I chopped up all the cheese, put it in the fridge so that it's cold to then put onto the pizza after the fact. Or not after, but right before it goes into the oven. Well, I forgot to put it on the fucking pizza before I put it in the oven. And the reason I knew is because I started smelling something that smelled like it might be burning. And so I was like, well, fuck, what the hell? It hasn't been in there that long, because, I mean, it wasn't on for, I had my timer and everything. It wasn't in there for 5 minutes. I pull it out, and there's no fucking cheese, and I'm like, fuck! That sucked. So, because of that, oh yeah, I need to take... I have a lot of Adderall left, but... Hey, come on. Come here. I'll take some of this too while I'm here. What the hell? Oh man. So yeah, I don't remember what I was talking about. Cheese on pizza, but also taking the Adderall now because I got to work tonight. Might as well take it now. I was considering going to the UPS store before work, but I was gonna do that like now, if I was gonna do it at all, and I'm just not feeling it. And it's not like it's absolutely necessary to go right now. I can do it coming back from work. It's not a problem. So I'll do that. As long as I have my keys with me. And then I'll have a new set of keys from work. So there's that. I'm going to do some onion cooking at some point too. I was going to do it yesterday, but I just never felt like... because it's going to take a while. And yesterday I was kind of like in and out of just getting in and out of bed and really not feeling the whole just cooking for long periods of time thing. I did the creamed corn and then that was it. And I'm like, well, I think I'm done with that. With doing that shit. Eating a lot more rice because that's pretty much what I'm eating on my days off now, rice and whatever else. I do need to cook some chicken. So I need to leave by, like, I technically need to leave by 9. If I walk out of here before 9 o'clock, I will definitely be at work anywhere between 15 to 30 minutes early, if not earlier. I mean, last time it took like an hour to get to work. It didn't make any sense. Like, now, not from walking, but from train to end. Because, like, it says it's like about an hour 20-ish to hour 30, depending. And obviously, you know, with various issues, layover and whatnot, between trains, it can take a little bit less or a little bit more time. But it was strange because, like, usually because, like, I got to the train station right after the train had, you know, crossed the street, which it seems to always be the fucking case. Sucks. It's like 50% of the time, but it still feels like it's more than 50% of the time. So I get there and I wait for like what feels like 20 minutes. I think it was close to 20. And because the trains are after like 9 o'clock, they're 20 minutes each. So it was close to 20. And it was supposed to be at least another hour 20 between the next train, you know, from the train on. And it only took like an hour, which is weird. So I don't know. It's weird like that. So it's just something I have to consider. But as long as I leave before 9 p.m., I will definitely be at work on time. And that's really all that matters in that regard. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to cook some rice. I might cook some chicken. I have stuff at work for my snack, for, you know, in the middle of the day. Oh yeah, I forgot this. My other spoons are down there, waiting to be washed, so I gotta bring out the little soup spoon. Let's throw in some seasonings before I stir. Touch of salt. I don't need a whole lot since the bacon is salty. I like putting this nutritional yeast in so much stuff. It just kind of adds that extra body to it. A little bit of a cheesiness. And then on top of that, I'll go ahead and throw in some actual cheesiness. It's all mostly just flavor enhancers at this point, so. And it's funny because, like, I hated the idea of cream corn for so long until I saw Alvin's video. And I was like, it has stuff in it that I like, so let's try it. I mean, I like cooked corn. It's one of the few vegetables that I like cooked. And it's like, I don't know why. I don't know why of all the vegetables, corn is like one of the few things that I like cooked. I'm not an overly picky eater. That's the funny thing. Like, I'll eat pretty much everything for the most part. There's a couple of things that I don't like. I mean, I don't like cantaloupe. I don't like honeydew. I don't like mango. Cilantro tastes like soap, so can't have that. What else? I mean, most vegetables I don't like cooked. Like, I'll eat plenty of spinach. I'll eat broccoli. I'll eat cauliflower, carrots, bell peppers. Although I like bell peppers cooked in certain circumstances. Onions, I only will eat when they're cooked. Like, I prefer garlic when it's cooked. I don't like fresh garlic. So Allison's, they're kind of in that realm. It's weird. You know, like, a potato, I mean, I'm not going to eat a potato that's uncooked. A raw potato is just fucking weird. Um, like, who eats raw potatoes? Generally speaking, as far as I'm aware, nobody. um, Now, Vidalia onions supposedly are pretty good for the whole, like, they're apparently pretty sweet, but I don't think I'll ever be trying to eat a Vidalia onion like an apple. It's just not something that conceptually appeals to me. Because, I mean, I don't even like the taste of onion, typically speaking. Like, I like cooked onion. That's the only kind of onion that I like. I'm trying to think. I mean, tomatoes. I'll eat a tomato in any form. I've eaten tomatoes raw, just like an apple, no problem. Same with bell peppers. I've done the same thing. I mean, I've literally taken a bell pepper, taken a bite out of it, knocked the shit out of the seeds if possible, and then just started eating the apple or the bell pepper like an apple, no problem. Fruits are interesting too, because like most fruits I'll eat cooked, if not all of them. I can't think of anything that I don't. I can't think of them. One thing about like cucumbers and zucchini and stuff, like those are dependent. I will eat them fresh. I'll eat them raw. Generally, I prefer to. One thing about cucumbers, at least, and it's a good cooking technique, anyways, to kind of scrape out the inside before cooking them, because then they get kind of slimy. And so, you get that texture. And generally speaking, I would prefer not to eat that slimy texture, so that's why I just generally I'll eat a cucumber, no problem, just raw. One of the things, like, I started thinking about this yesterday. Back when I used to hang out with Occupy Wall Street people, at one point, a conversation about denatured stuff came up, and they were like, it's denatured, it's bad for you, blah, blah, blah. That's the thing, it's not necessarily the case, because if you ever cook anything, you're denaturing stuff, usually proteins. Like, if you ever cook eggs, the reason why that not white looking slime turns into white is because you're denaturing the proteins in the albumin, and that's why it turns white. It's like denaturing something doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean that you're taking it into some sort of synthetic territory, that it's evil or anything like that. You're just taking it from its natural state, that's all. It was mostly a temperature test. It seems to have passed. Green corn and bacon. It's pretty damn good. Throw in a little cracked pepper. Some other seasonings, whatever you want to throw in. Good shit. Yeah, why not? Fuck it. I could use it. It made it a little hotter. Oops, that's the wrong side. And I'll throw in a touch of garlic powder. Garlic powder and onion powder are great. I put them in a lot of stuff. And see, this is the thing too. It's like, I know this is a meme that runs around every now and then. It talks about how, like, white people, they'll bring something to like a party or a potluck or something like that, and there's no like seasoning to it. It's like, that'll never be a problem with me. I will never have unseasoned food or low seasoned food, unless I just completely fucking forget. Because everything that I make is gonna have a lot of flavor in it. I just can't not have food with a lot of flavor to it. And I would say that one of the reasons why that might be commonplace. is because often, well, I don't know. I'll take my own experiences and maybe extrapolate from them. So, obviously, this is, a real scientific study or anything of that nature, but my thoughts is that similar to how mine are, when you're not taught how to cook, for whatever reason it is, if you have somebody who is cooking for you, and hey, maybe it's because it's an extension of slavery, and you had your slaves cooking for you, and so because you had somebody cooking for you, be it a slave or somebody else, or your mammy, which is your shit, basically a wet nurse. And there's so many problems with that. Holy fuck. When you have, like, the stereotypes make sense when you start looking at the history of America. Because what's one of the things that, outside of America, Britain apparently doesn't seem to have a lot of spices. People bitch about British food not really having much for seasoning or spices or anything. And why they, one of the reasons why they went around the world, doing what they were doing, being assholes. And, America is a British colony from originally speaking. And we came over here, fucked with people who were already here, who already understood the place, likely grew a number of seasonings or picked them however you want to word it. When Native Americans were here, they already understood the place. We come over, we fuck with them. And then we bring people over to do all of the bidding for us so that we don't have to fucking do a goddamn thing. And in so doing, you don't learn how to do anything unless you're literally stealing it from people. But if it's not in some way somewhat symbiotic, then you're not going to be learning everything about it. And they're going to be holding secrets. They're going to be holding things away from you because you're the person who's in control. And so they're going to find a means of control too. And I mean, obviously, this is me synthesizing stuff, and this is me, making assumptions and extrapolations based on so much fucking history. This country is so fucked in so many ways. But, and, it's not unheard of that food is largely associated with caste or socioeconomic status, etc. No, not only black people like fried chicken, everybody loves fucking fried chicken. It's delicious. But stereotypically, it seems, this is not my thoughts, this is my understanding of things, that the black community is better at it. Everybody seems to agree to that too. I don't know why. It could be based on these things I'm talking about. When you have people who are preparing your food for you and all this other shit, when you have an entire race of people doing all the work, that makes sense. And if you're not learning from them, you're not passing that information on. They're not passing it on to you. And why the fuck would they? Why would they pass it on to you? Not necessarily, one might say, well, then that might empower it to where you do it yourself and they don't have to do it. That wouldn't fucking happen. You know that. They wouldn't do that. The people who are in control would not say, oh, well, we know these things now, so you can go ahead and go free. No, of course they fucking wouldn't. Because slaves were property. And so the last thing they wanted you to do was go free. Hence why slave patrols existed. And where our, thus the origin of the modern day police force. And while I have no way of verifying the following sentiment, that's probably why also stupid small ass laws exist where you can't have like a penny behind your ear or some stupid shit. Because for all we know, that was a kind of expression of either a sense of freedom or whatever. It could have been a number of things. For all I could be wrong too, but nothing says petty like making something super small, turning it into a crime, and then saying because you're property. I mean, our country does shit like that all the fucking time. God, this is fucking good. And so, you're not going to be going free even if you do pass on the information. So why the fuck would you pass on the information? You pass it on to your kids who are going to be slaves because there was a generational problem that we had. It was generational slavery. It wasn't indentured servitude, because indentured servitude was effectively a contract. It said, you're going to work you're going to work for these people for a specific period of time, and then when you're done, you'll get whatever rewards. You'll get some kind of freedom, because that was effectively your type of punishment for whatever crime you did. And of course, like most things, crimes are geared towards the poor. The people who can't pay their fines have to do the other stuff. They have to do all the shitty stuff. Which is why, you know, a scaled income-based fine system is way better. Plus, you know, I would say that it probably disincentivizes richer people from doing it, but at the same time, if they do decide to do it, they're paying in. Because then you wouldn't have cops trying to get fucking quotas, ideally. It's like, hey, we caught this one dude. He makes thousands and thousands of dollars a day. We don't have to sit out there and be stupid and waste gas, idling, and you know, intimidating everybody and all this other stuff. We can go do some real shit now because we got all this money from this one dude for his speeding ticket. So, to bring all this up together, and again, this is all just me spitballing. I don't know. This is me taking information that I've learned over the years and connecting the dots, if you will. And, you know, am I right? I don't know. But my thinking is, when you have people, whites, generally speaking, not learning something, i.e. how to season food for all intents and purposes, because they're not the ones doing that work. They then, I mean, they're living on a lap of luxury. They can do whatever the hell they want. They can leave the house and they can go do something else. And then they come back and they have a very tasty meal. And it's prepared by a slave. And over time, that understanding of cooking and seasoning passes generations along into people of color and their community, largely black, of course, because that was the main issue in America. It makes sense. The stereotype makes sense why a white person can't season their food. That's a long-winded ass fucking way of saying it. And maybe that's why almost every person who is a renowned celebrity chef of some kind is a white person. Also because they had the means to be able to produce the show, whatever the show may be. Like, how many people out there who are really good at cooking don't have the production value, the time, the other resources to make an educational show because of systemic and generational shit, I can't even think of the word, underdogging, basically, but oppression and suppression. I mean, I've had literally half a year to do whatever, and I've been bitching about it the whole time. But I feel like I'm bitching about stuff for the right reasons. I'm trying to, anyway. But I had all that time because I had all that money saved up. I had all that money saved up from living in a shithole apartment, raking in all the unemployment. How many people didn't even get their fucking unemployment? How many people couldn't even go on unemployment because of whatever reason? I don't know. This is why we need to take care of people. And, bringing it back to work. And like I said last week, I'm actually kind of glad that I took this job. I am now working in a mental health environment. And while it's largely white dudes with insurance, it's giving me some information. It's giving me understanding of things. What I'm going to do with it, I don't know yet. I've only just started, so there's only so much I can do. And I've still got to take care of myself and make sure that I'm going to be able to pay my fucking rent. But in the coming days, cook some pizza, cook some onions, cook some potatoes, make a little bit more cream corn maybe. Because I had a lot of corn. I used a lot of it. But we have a lot of resources in this world. The internet can be a great one. It can also be a terrible one. And that's where I learned a lot of stuff. And I know that I'm still very much surrounded by white culture. And I'm still trying to expand. But I'm doing what I can for myself for the time being until I'm in a position where I can expand further. It's the way it is, I guess. Anywho, it's been a while.